about the immune system because I did a post on Facebook. Sometimes I like to do these little questions, and asked, who has been sick, who's been sick in the house, who's dodged it. And so many people have been sick or have somebody in the household that's been sick. So I thought, what a great time. We often call this flu season, but really we know that it's more like sugar season, right? We went from Halloween to Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's, and then here we are, and all those months of sugar, and then we're like, why is everybody getting sick? Oh, it's flu season. Well, actually, our habits are usually catching up to us, but we can still do things to help support us through that. And a lot of times, what is going around right now is viral, and so the antibiotics won't help. So we need to use some other things. But first, I want to welcome everybody. So, good morning and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. My name is Dr. Linzi. I'm a naturopathic doctor right here in Iron River. I specialize in helping people restore their health and revitalize their life. And always a little disclaimer, especially because we're especially talking about immune stuff and health stuff today, is that anything we discuss is for the purpose of general health support and is not intended to treat or cure disease. We're really talking about supporting overall physiology and optimizing overall health. So always consult with your primary care before making any changes, right? And then I always like to recap. Last week we talked about something very simple and very old school and surprisingly very powerful, especially for people who are feeling stressed, overwhelmed, inflamed, or hormonally off, or just plain worn down. Hello, all of us, right? And so we walked through using castor oil packs and how that can slow the nervous system down and give us the opportunity to heal. And so, again, I had mentioned how, we can take all the supplements in the world, but if our body is stuck in that hurry and worry, it becomes much harder to heal. So if you missed that, be sure to go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Linzi, and you can check out that recording if you missed that, because castor oil is very inexpensive. You got to make sure you're getting the good stuff, and I talk about that because some of it can be toxic. I carry it in the office. You can always reach out, but it's a simple, inexpensive tool you can have in your tool belt to help you. So definitely check on that, okay? And so then, like I had mentioned, based on my post this week, we have had a lot of people sick, a lot of people out sick, and so I wanted to talk about how we can support the body with the different bugs going around, because I know sometimes we get so scared of the bug, but we don't need to be as scared of the bug. We need to support our body and focus on our body and our terrain, and so much will get better. So first, I want to mention, so you all can be educated on this, is the difference between viral versus bacterial and why this matters. Many of you know this already, but I want to remind you that most of what's circulating around right now is viral. And this is important to understand because antibiotics do not treat viral infections or viral things going on. Antibiotics kill bacteria, not viruses. Now, sometimes a really bad viral infection can progress to a secondary bacterial infection where then maybe that would be needed. But if you start addressing and supporting your body right away, you don't have to worry about getting there. And the issue is that if you take those when not needed, even if you're really feeling awful, but it's viral and you're like, oh, but maybe the antibiotic will help. Don't do it, because you guys, that weakens your gut microbiome. I don't know if many of you know this, but like one round of antibiotics, it takes you a year of consistent probiotic use to replenish what that antibiotic killed. Because remember, it's killing the bad guy, but it's also killing off, it's not selective like different herbs can be. It is killing off everything, the good and the bad, and a year of consistent probiotic use to replenish what was lost from one round of antibiotics. So that's a big deal, you guys. And it stresses the immune system. It increases resistance long term. And this is why people often get sicker over time or keep getting those infections, because they just go right to the antibiotic. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place, but we often jump there too soon, and they definitely should not be used for viral situations. So let's talk about the immune system's job really quick. So your immune system, you guys, is incredibly intelligent. Your whole body is incredibly intelligent, really. And one of the most powerful tools your body has for your immune system is, can anybody guess it? Fever. We often think of fever as this awful thing. Oh my gosh, you guys, fever is brilliant. Fever is helpful. Fever is our friend. This slows viral replication. It activates your white blood cells, which are your fighters. Literally your military going in and taking care of what needs to be taken care of. It speeds up the immune response. And if you suppress that fever too quickly, you are actually prolonging the illness. If you keep taking, and that's a different topic, we know, don't even go for the Tylenol, but if you keep taking other fever reducers and you just keep suppressing that fever when your body is doing that intelligently. It's communicating and it is raising that set point so it can kill off, slow the viral replication, kill it off, get you better faster. And a lot of times people will say, "Oh, I never get sick." That's also a concern. Because you do want to, it's okay to get sick once or twice a year. It's actually good for your immune system. It primes your immune system. It reminds your immune system how to work. It's actually a little bit cancer preventative. Those people who say, "Oh, I haven't been sick in 10 years," that concerns me because you may not be checking things out like cancer cells and things that need to be killed. So getting sick once or twice a year is great. You just actually don't want it to be prolonged. If you get sick, you want it to be quick and fast and overcome it and mount a strong response, get that strong fever and boom, you overcome it within 24 to 72 hours and you're done with it, moving on. That is a good, strong immune response. And that's actually positive. So the number one thing people literally get wrong when they get sick is automatically suppressing symptoms like fever, mucus, and fatigue. These are signals. They are not mistakes. Symptoms are not the enemy. They are literally the body's way of communicating with you. So now, of course, you got to use common sense. If the fever is getting too high, starting to get to 103, really pay attention, 103.5, 104, okay, you may have to take action. You can take a lukewarm bath. You can use things like calcium lactate, which will allow the fever to still have its function, but not get too high. There's so many things we can do. I am a little biased. This may be why it's helpful to have a naturopathic doctor in your corner, because then when you're going through this, you can just call her and she will help you and tell you what you need to do, especially individually for you and what you have going on. But if you support that hydration and those electrolytes, that fluid is going to thin the mucus. The electrolytes are going to keep you firing on all cylinders. It's going to support your detox pathways, and this is going to help the dehydration that can happen with a fever. And then if you're sweating a lot with the fever, you definitely want to add in those electrolytes. And if you're feeling fatigued, you want to listen to your body. Rest is medicine. So healing happens when we stop pushing through, and that, because that will allow you to recover faster. And also, we need to nourish ourselves, but not force food. Like a lot of times we worry if our kiddos aren't eating or this or that. It's actually okay if we go a couple days without food, because a lot of that energy has to go to our digestion. And when we're not eating, or we're focusing more on like broths or soups or easy to digest things, then the body can focus on fighting the infection, and that's okay. And a lot of times people will actually fast when they're sick, and that can be beneficial to allow the immune system to do the job. And then of course we can support the immune system without suppressing it. So I'll just list off here some of my favorite go-tos. And I want to point out here that if I mention anything that is a supplement, you guys, I'm seeing so many people just order their stuff on Amazon, and I use Amazon for lots of different things, don't get me wrong. Please don't use it for supplements. It's a serious problem. You don't know the quality you're getting. You don't, even if it says it's direct from the whoever. I see so many horror stories. You don't know the quality. You don't know how it's stored. And over the counter stuff is often garbage, and it's not even in there what's in there. So I'm happy to share my online dispensary. I'm happy to have the basic things for immune system available. You don't have to be a patient to get those basics, just because I want people to get good quality stuff. You don't want to be putting garbage in your body, especially when you're sick. So, of course, vitamin C, that's an obvious one, right? Please don't use Emergency. Those little Emergency packets are complete garbage and fillers and crap. No. And most vitamin C is coming from genetically modified moldy corn. Not helpful. We want good quality vitamin C, and then yes, that will help you. And I have great options at the office, liposomal form, powder form from actual food. One with all different minerals, really great options there. And then you often hear of zinc. Zinc is powerful. It's even more powerful when combined with quercetin, and that's when it's able to actually get into the viral cells and lyse them and allow them to die, which is awesome. But please keep in mind, zinc is meant to be short term. I have so many patients come in, they've been on large doses of zinc since COVID. And you guys, you don't want to be taking large doses of zinc all the time. It messes with your copper, it messes with your minerals. Taking larger doses for a short period of time when you're sick is fine, but we don't want to be doing that long term. I also use a lot of herbal supports. So I know you hear elderberry and echinacea all the time. Those are lovely, you guys, but they're kind of like cute and helpful. And what I mean by that is they're helpful preventatively, or if you catch it like right away, They can be great early on, but I have found that when someone is truly full blown sick, those just aren't going to cut it. We need things that are much stronger. Like I use a very special type of garlic, a wild bear garlic. That thing is so antiviral, very powerful. Things like Chinese skullcap, andrographis, special blends of mushrooms. And this is where having an ND in your corner is helpful because depending on the patient's constitution, I will often choose different herbs, and that will allow that herb to be more effective for their body and allow them to overcome it faster. And that's where that individuality matters, and having that specificity can make all the difference and get you over it fast. I also like to use enzymes, things like nattokinase and serrapeptidase. These break up mucus. They help break down proteins responsible for the viral spreading. Very powerful. I also love to use nasal sprays. Now, not all nasal sprays are created equal, and if you have an active sinus infection, you don't want to use a nasal spray because it can push the infection further. But if you're just congested and you have that mucus, or people around you are getting sick, and you want to keep your nasal passages clear, because that's where we often breathe it in and start the infection process, I like to use a xylitol nasal spray, which helps clear and thin the mucus, and then followed with a nano silver spray, which is very anti-inflammatory and then kills any of the microbes that may be living in the nasal passage. I also love using homeopathics, of course. I use a lot of combos for, I have one called Flumilu, one for a viral detox. These combos really help you get over it faster. I love using hydrotherapy, constitutional hydrotherapy, and a therapy at home called warming socks, which you guys, this one is amazing. It's so simple to do. And it's inexpensive. You just need socks and water. And I tell you, if as soon as someone in your house is getting sick or you start to feel sick, it will cut your sickness in half, or you just won't get it at all. And it's so simple. You literally warm your feet. So either take a nice hot bath or soak your feet in a nice hot, little warming bath, 5 or 10 minutes, then put some cotton socks in an ice bath. So like just a bowl of ice water. After you're done warming your feet, you wring out the cotton socks, you put them on. Don't worry, they're only cold for like 30 seconds. Your body starts warming them. Then you put on some big wool socks. If you don't have wool, that's okay. Just some big, thick hunting socks or, whatever, and then go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, those socks will be bone dry. The act of your body drying those socks all night pulls congestion from your head, stimulates your lymphatic system, boosts your white blood cells. And if you do that for 3 to 5 days, again, you'll cut your sickness in half, or you usually won't get sick. Free information for you guys today. Add that to your tool belt. It is so helpful. Also, gargling. A lot of people gargle with warm salt water. What you're missing there is the baking soda. You add in that baking soda to the salt water gargle. That baking soda helps lyse the viruses that may be hanging out in your throat. So that's a powerful one. Red light therapy. Now, this does require a purchase. I love my red light, but red light therapy is probably one of the best investments you can make for home use. Not all red light therapy is created equal. There's a lot of crap out there, especially on Amazon. Go figure. If you want my favorite red light or recommendation, just reach out. But you can put that red light over your throat, over your lymph nodes, over your chest, over your liver, over your stomach. You can put it anywhere, and it also can be used for pain and all sorts of other things. But it boosts your immune system and clears things out. Amazing tool to have in there. And then one thing that I really wanted to point out to you guys, since everybody is so sick, is humidity. Okay, now what do I mean by this? So why humidity matters, especially in the winter. So one thing most people don't think about in the winter is how dry the air gets indoors, right? And that dry air actually allows viruses to survive much longer. So the science behind this, you guys, is that when indoor humidity drops below 40%, viruses stay airborne longer, they survive longer on surfaces, and they spread more easily. So studies literally show that in dry air, so like 20 to 30% humidity, certain viruses can remain viable up to 2 to 3 times longer, and transmission rates increase significantly. But when humidity is maintained between 40 and 60, viral particles degrade faster, mucous membranes stay moist and functional, and we all know that's the immune system first line of defense, so that works better, because you remember that dry air dries out your nose, your throat, and your lungs, and that's your first immune barrier. So we want to keep those moist. So if you're having dry nasal passages, then you're having less effective immune system. The mucus becomes thicker and less protective. And the little cilia, those little tiny hairs, they don't move as well to clear things out. So this is not just about the virus living, but also about the terrain of your body. So one of the simplest things you can do is literally get a humidifier. Now, of course, you guys know me, I'm pretty particular. Most humidifiers are just breeding grounds for mold and nastiness. They make some really good humidifiers that are all stainless steel. Of course, they're more expensive, but you don't have to buy filters and it will last you the rest of your life. My favorite one is called, oh gosh, what is it called? Cape. Let me see. I wrote it down here for you guys. I can always, you guys can always reach out and I can tell you which one is my favorite. But so if you put that humidifier in the bedroom and you aim for that 40 to 50% indoor humidity, this is going to make such a difference for you guys and get the viruses killed, not have everything spreading like wildfire. Like you feel like your kids come home and they get it, and as soon as one gets over it, the other one brings the other one home. If you get a humidifier going in your house and get that humidity up, you're going to be less likely to keep spreading it. It's called CarePod. That's my favorite humidifier. Again, it's not cheap, but it's amazing. You don't have to worry about mold or filters. Great quality. It'll be set for life. That's CarePod. That is a really good humidifier to get going in your house. And then just always remember, you guys, the gut immune connection. 70% of your immune system lives in your gut. And this is why chronic antibiotic use is so devastating to the immune system. And so sometimes it's a means to an end. If there's a really bad bacterial infection, we got to do what we got to do. But it should be really the last resort because it literally destroys your gut microbiome, which is your immune system. It makes you prone for more infections moving on. And so this is why we also have to pay attention to sugar, our sleep, our chronic stress, because that's all weakening our immune system. So that's kind of where what we're doing in between illness matters just as much as what we do during being sick. So we want to support that. And so you guys, we don't need to fear every bug going around, but we do need to respect the body and how the body was designed to heal and not just go right to suppressing everything. And always, if you guys need help knowing the difference, reach out, get a naturopathic doctor in your corner, because we not only help with chronic issues, we are very well trained and educated in helping with acute things going on, like acute sickness, and how to support the body out of it. Because you also have to remember, from a naturopathic perspective, every time you get sick, it's actually the body's opportunity to purge. It's a detox opportunity. So I know we get so mad when we get sick, but we can kind of look at it as like, okay, body, like let's show you what I got. Let's fight this, because then your immune system is going to be stronger when you get through it naturally. And you're giving your body the opportunity to fight, and you're giving your body the opportunity to purge and detox so that you can be stronger after that sickness. So we can kind of switch it from this big negative, horrible thing to a positive, like, hey, my body got the opportunity to detox, my immune system got a little review session on how to function, and we're stronger after the fact. Does that make sense?
Boy, I'm blown away. I mean, what you're saying is really timely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a few notes here.
Yeah.
It just I'm a sugarholic.
Oh yeah.
I'm addicted to sugar.
So many are. You're not alone, my friend. And what's helpful, I really like to point out, because this visual, I'm a very visual, and sometimes when I can visualize things, it helps it sit better. So at least so if you have a bunch of people in your house getting sick, your kiddos are sick, you kind of feel your throat starts to get scratchy, you're coming down with something, immediately, 0 sugar, not even added in anything, like for the next 3 to 5 days. And the visual that can help with this is that one normal serving of sugar. So that would be something like, even like in a bowl of cereal. So like, 10 grams of sugar, which is so easy. You can get that by noon, no problem. In one serving, most people can get 10 grams. Most kids at school breakfast are getting well over 10 grams of sugar. They're getting more like probably 50. And just 10 grams can shut down the immune system, literally put it to sleep for at least 4 to 8 hours. So imagine you're getting up in the morning, you're having a sugar-laden breakfast, your little muffin with your ridiculous iced coffee and your chocolate milk and your cereal or your processed OJ, and you literally just put your immune system to sleep before you're going out into the world where everyone else is sick, or with the kiddos starting their day with all the sicknesses going around. And they literally, your immune system, your little army, they literally go to sleep and take a nap. that sugar shuts them down. And so that can be a helpful visual where you're like, okay, listen, I'm going out. Everybody's getting sick. Everybody's sick around me. I need to not put my army to sleep. My army needs to be ready to go and to fight. So that can be a motivator for you. And usually then on a positive note, after about 5 days of no sugar, that's when the cravings usually start to subside. And you can use that as momentum to really cut it out, of your life. Because I didn't realize such, when I, was researching different things, that such a small amount of sugar can literally shut down the immune system for that length of time. That's literally the whole day you're out and about and being surrounded by all the bugs. And so that is something so simple we can do. And then, like I mentioned with the nasal spray, if everyone around you is sick, the kids are coming home, 2 to 3 times a day, you can, or if you go out in a public setting and then you get back in the car, you can do that alternating nasal spray to kind of clear your passage so that any viruses that you may have breathed in don't set up shop and then start replicating. Because that's usually what happens. We either breathe it in, it gets in through our mucous membranes, it sets up shop, and then it starts to replicate, and then it overtakes, and then you get sick. So if you can minimize that by keeping your humidity good, keeping your nasal passage clean, not shutting down your immune system with sugar, you have a much better fighting chance of not getting everything that's going around.
Yeah, cool. I have grandkids that bring stuff home.
Always. Yes.
And the other benefit for cutting out sugar, I do a semi keto diet.
Okay.
And you can only have 22 grams. So like
Yeah.
you said, I mean, I think two slices of bread might be 22 grams.
If not more. And you got to keep in mind your fruit counts towards that. So most people would much rather, well, I would hope most people would much rather have fruit than a bunch of processed carbs. Right. So it also encourages a healthier eating because you're like, okay, well, it's still sugar though. So even though it's natural, which is much better for us from fruit, it still counts as sugar. So even when people are sick, we still have to cut back on the fruit because it's sugar. And so, I mean, of course, eating a beautiful organic apple is much better for you than a piece of Wonder Bread by far, or a croissant or whatever. But we still have to be aware that it's still sugar, and we got to lay off a little bit when we're sick so our immune system has the best chance.
Yeah. I didn't realize until you brought this up, being bad for catching colds and such.
Yeah.
I did it for weight loss.
Yeah.
You can get two birds with one stone kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Because when I cut back on sugar, mm-hmm. and I continue my exercise routine like I always do, I can lose 10, 15, 20 pounds. Yes. And
that's amazing.
And also
you're boosting your immune system at the same time.
Immune system. What
a bonus, right? I love 2 birds. I like 10 birds with 1 stone. So when you cut out that sugar, oh yeah, you're also helping your brain. You're helping your immune system. You're helping the weight loss. You're helping your insulin.
It feeds cancer too, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it can really helps. Cancer loves that. It's easy fuel, and that's why ketosis is so helpful because that's you're burning fat for fuel instead of blood sugar, and lots of cells have a harder time. Bad cells have a harder time using the ketones for fuel, so it's helpful in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other things was your antibiotics. I understand that if you don't, you should use it sparingly, like you said, and for the right thing. But if you do go on antibiotics, you should finish your entire.
Oh yes, you always want to finish the entire round because you don't want to perpetuate more resistance. You finish your round. Even if you're feeling better, kind of like even with the warming socks, like I mentioned, even if you're feeling better, do it for the 3 to 5 days just to really boost your system. But yeah, you want to finish your round, and then you really want to come in strong with some probiotics. And unfortunately, for like a year, and you can change them up and alternate them, but you do want to help rebuild your microbiome because it was just completely knocked out. And then a lot of times if people are already unhealthy and you take that antibiotic and it comes in and it wipes out the bad guys, but also any good guys you had, and you already are not super healthy or inflamed, then the microbes that replenish and grow back aren't usually the healthiest ones. And you kind of perpetuate this bad terrain of unhealthiness, and it's not positive, and you're more prone to another yeast infection or another chronic infection, another chronic sinus infection, because your terrain, your microbiome just keeps being rebuilt back after you knock it out with the antibiotic, worse and worse and worse. And so you kind of have to reset that. You got to get the inflammation down. And you have to also, if you have a really bad gut and you just start taking a bunch of probiotics, you're also probably not going to feel good, because a lot of times that re-inoculation phase, we call it, as repopulating with the good guys, is sometimes the last step in the gut healing, because you want to clear things out first, and you want to decrease the inflammation, you want to tighten the junctions of the gut and support the body, and then come in with the probiotics to repopulate and create a positive terrain and a positive environment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From a layman
Yeah.
point of view.
Yeah.
And the other thing about antibiotics I heard is
Yeah.
if you don't finish your full subscription,
Yeah.
you can create super germs.
Oh, like,
So
yes.
they're resistant.
They become even more resistant.
Yeah, more resistant.
Yeah. So then the next time you take it, that antibiotic won't work for you anymore.
No.
And so then, I mean, and so this is why it's also a concern. A lot of my patients that I work with and talk with, as using it as a last resort, not just like, oh, let me go get another Z pack, or let me go get my antibiotic, I'm feeling a little crappy. Because the thing is you want to have that antibiotic work for you when you really, really, really need it. And what I usually am referring to with that is, as we get older and we're more prone to infection, a lot of times what I guess takes older people's lives is pneumonia. It's like a very common thing.
Mhm.
You're not moving as much. You're getting older. You kind of get sick, and then you get pneumonia, and it takes your life, right? And then a lot of times, as people get older, if they've had antibiotics so often throughout their life, none of the antibiotics are working anymore. So if you can really limit your antibiotic use while you're younger and healthier, and have the ability to fight these things, then when you're much older and you're weaker, or you don't have that strength or vitality, then those antibiotics are much more likely to work for you, because you haven't developed superbugs, you haven't developed resistance. It's going to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is you highlighted vitamin C and
Yeah.
zinc. I already take those things, but probably not from the right source. Do you sell?
Yeah. Yep. So I have a really great one up there that, and remember with zinc, so a little bit every day is okay, but I really don't like more than like 5 to 10 milligrams a day regularly, because we can get it from our food, we can get it from other things. Now when we're sick, we can take upwards of 30 to 50 milligrams a day for a short period. But some people, since hearing they should take it during COVID, they're still taking massive amounts of zinc. That can mess with your copper, that can mess with your cellular function. So I really, unless somebody has a specific nutrient deficiency going on, I usually preserve using zinc when somebody is sick. But yeah, I have a great vitamin C that is a great quality, and it also has zinc and a bunch of other minerals in there in a healthy dose. So you can take that in a powder, and it tastes like orange, and then you're getting all the minerals and the vitamin C. And you can control the dosing for if you're just kind of preventing because everyone around you's sick, or you're like actively sick. And then that's really helpful. That's a lot of my patients' favorite go-to for their immune supporting shelf in the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, I got to get some of that.
Yeah.
I forget, where's your
office? Yes. So I am located at 401 Washington Avenue, so right at the top of Stambo Hill. Right after you go right across where the call center was, right across from there. And you can also always call, because we're there Mondays and Thursdays, 8 to 4:30. Sometimes people forget when we're there, so you can always send a text and just say you want to stop by and make sure we're there. We have what you're looking for. And that is 906-829-0500. You can call or text. You can also email info@Dr.Linzi. That's info@drlinzi.com. And reach us that way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
One other thing is this red light.
Yeah.
Is that just infrared?
So it is a form of infrared light, but it's specific wavelength. It's a specific wavelength. So it's not just like a light bulb, and you can get good quality from like an infrared sauna. But the red light, the good quality ones, they have a very specific wavelength that is very powerful for penetrating the tissue. Because the big thing with light therapy is it's got to be able to penetrate the tissue, otherwise it's not going to have an effect. And the one that I use and love has red light and also NIR, near infrared, which penetrates a bit deeper. And it can even be used for like if you bruise a bone, you injure a bone, it can penetrate that deep to promote healing.
Interesting.
And so I like to have both options there, so that, you can just use it. I mean, we're always using our red light. Somebody bumps something, red light. Somebody's feeling a little under the weather, red light time. Somebody, anything, you're feeling a little sluggish, red light over the liver. Like you're, feeling like you're looking older, red light over the face. You got to close your eyes, but it supports collagen too. So it helps your skin. So there's so many great benefits, and it's a nice tool to have, to add to your arsenal of how to stay well at home without having to go to the doctor per se.
Yeah, save a lot of money.
Yeah.
This red light, is this something that you have to?
I have it in the office. I mean, but most people, you can buy your own, and I can always share which one that I use. I do carry it in the office so that if somebody does come in sick and we're doing a therapy, I can put it over them. Or if they're doing their ion cleanse foot bath and they want to support their skin collagen, we can put it on their skin, like just so it's kind of a perk for patients when they're doing their therapies, that we can just add on the red light for them. And so that's really nice. So I definitely have it in the office. I definitely have it at home, but it's something that patients can very easily buy. They're not cheap, the good ones. I mean, this one does, without a sale, runs around I believe $600. So not cheap, but you're likely only going to buy one in your lifetime, and it is so beneficial. Now, she does have the creator of it, who's a doctor. She created it, which I love. She does have usually one sale a year. It is around Black Friday, so you might have to wait until, a little bit, but she'll usually do 50% off. So you can put it on your list of okay, we should get this sometime this year, maybe. It's a good tool to have for sure.
Yeah, you got a lot of tools. And one other thing